Last year, West Virginia and UConn was a battle for the top of the Big East. It is again this year, but of course there's a lot of football left to play in the conference. Hey, how are you folks? Jason Horowitz, glad to be with you on the college football previews presented by AT&T. West Virginia again leading the conference. Let's bring in Spencer Tillman to break it all down. And you know, Spence, when you talk about the Big East, first we thought South Florida was the best team in the conference. Then it was Pittsburgh. Then they lose to Rutgers. When you look at this conference with West Virginia and UConn now on top, who do you think is the best team in the conference?
Well, you know, the old element of recency comes into play. Who you see last, you tend to be most impressed with, Jason, and it's been crazy. As you said, South Florida was probably the preseason favorite. I think that right now West Virginia, by virtue of their victory over Auburn, you know, we know about Auburn's problems on the offensive side of the ball, but they do have a pretty stout defense. And the fact that West Virginia and Pat White were able to cut loose on them tells me a little bit something about what they're able to do. And it's been a quiet West Virginia this year. But I think I was impressed enough last week against what they did to Auburn to think that right now, for the moment, they're the best in the East.
And Pat White did a lot against Connecticut last year in this game. They put up 66 points, and Pat White had 186 yards rushing. Any reason to believe he wouldn't do that again this time?
No reason to believe that. I mean, UConn's defense is pretty stout, again, but there's 4 in a row for West Virginia against this bunch. And I think that confidence coming in is going to definitely help them get another victory and make it 5 straight. But again, I think West Virginia has to continue doing what it did last week. It has to take a very tough, physical, offensive mindset into this contest because they're going to face, again, another stiff defense similar to Auburn's in many regards. And if they can do that, I think I really like their chances a lot to get this victory, Jason.
And, of course, this time it's not at home like last week. It's on the road. And you're going to a UConn team and take on a UConn team that has a star that a lot of people in the nation don't know about. Who is he?
Well, Donald Brown, I mean, the running back. I mean, he leads the nation in rushing right now, and I think the thing about it is we have a year in which the quarterback play has been so prolific, you haven't heard much about the great runners. I mean, you got McCoy, and you got some of the other ones that are out there, and Noshawn Marino, among others that have eclipsed the 1,000-yard mark, Ringer among them, or getting close. Ringer may not be quite there yet. But, you know, Donald Brown does something that's special. I mean, he makes you understand and respect his speed. He can push the perimeter, and he's also strong enough to attack the A and the B gaps. So you've got to really be concerned about him. And to the degree that you can control or can't control him, they'll open up some of the things on the perimeter with their receivers that they probably would not be inclined to do. They're a run-first oriented team that does have weapons on the outside. So, again, it's all about Donald Brown. If you can keep him under control, you can have some success against UConn.
Well, they're also a run-first oriented team, kind of out of necessity. Tyler Lorenzen was the starting quarterback. He's been down since September. They lost a couple games with a sophomore. They're playing with a redshirt freshman.
That's right.
Randy Edsall has yet to name his quarterback for this game as we're taping this here in the middle of the week. Spence, when you look at UConn, if they are to win, and I guess in both of our minds pull off the upset, what's the key?
Well, again, it gets back to Donald Brown. I mean, to the degree that he can get 100 yards or better, you can see their success. Because remember, no matter how prolific Pat White is on the offensive side, Noel Devine, all of those great offensive weapons that West Virginia has, if you keep them off the football field, they're less dangerous. They're not a threat to you. So, again, it's all about ball control for UConn. Rely on that defense, get stops, get 1, 2, 3 and out so you can get back and chew up some of that clock to keep that vaunted West Virginia offense off the field, Jason.
And you already said that you think West Virginia is going to win this one, so we'll see how it all plays out. Spence, thank you very much. We'll see you Saturday, bud.
All right, Jason, we'll see you, buddy.
And, of course, folks, for more on this game, be sure to stay with CBSSports.com. And don't forget about SEC Live, presented by AT&T on CBSSports.com. Every game that you see on CBS, you see on SEC Live, presented by AT&T, of course, on CBSSports.com. This weekend it is Georgia and Florida. Huge game with huge BCS implications. For Spencer Tillman, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care, folks.